All right, in the Discord, hey all, live now, twitch.tv/atish music, tune on in. All right. Oh, weird, this chat overlay shows object, doesn't actually show the name of who's chatting, but oh well, that's a bummer. We'll live with it for now. Okay. So let's go to the first feedback in the channel here. Okay. This one is Tigran Hamasian. Sorry for butchering that. Almo's remix. Oh yeah, this one's from Almo. I saw you in the chat. Let's jump right in. Also, as a note, it looks like there's a bunch of submissions in the feedback group. I probably won't get to all of them, so I might jump through some of these tracks. I might have to skip some, and I give priority to anyone who's a Patreon subscriber. I will definitely not skip your track. So without further ado, let's get started. Has my attention so far. Ominous and ethereal. I'm liking this so far. It has a feeling of like darkness, ominous, and beautiful sad piano at the same time. That glitch thing is interesting. It got my attention for sure. I like the idea a lot. It breaks it up. It didn't feel like it was perfectly executed to me. It felt a little haphazard, but I definitely encouraged that idea. It took me by surprise. It didn't make it feel super vanilla. So at this point in the track, my attention is peaked. Yeah, okay, the hi-hats came in, that's good. I'm kind of waiting. We're 2 minutes 35 in. I'm kind of waiting to see when the track begins. Or maybe, I guess in my head I'm trying to decide, is this just like a low-hanging, like, ambient groover, or is it like more of a floor tune? I feel like it's a little late in the track for me to still be wondering what the track is about, but let's see. Let's give it a minute or two, and then I might jump forward. Okay, there we go. We got the snare, 16th note hi-hats. I like We're similar to the feedback before. Oh. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause it here. Yeah. So far, I'm liking a lot. I'm liking a lot of the elements that are there in the track. Um, it's just I still need to figure out how to talk over music while it's playing. I'm getting a little bit. I hate to say, I'm getting a little bit bored. I feel like at least thus far in the track, I think a lot of the work is going to be arrangement. As I mentioned, around the 2 to 3 minute mark, I was like still trying to figure out what the track was going to be. I think if this was like an opening track in a live set, you can get away with that. Really slowly building a groove like that. But yeah, in that all the not until right around here, around 322, did I really feel like I knew what the track was trying to be. And then again, I'm really glad the piano came back at 4 minutes because you set that mood early on. But I have this feeling of loopiness. I think a lot of the supporting elements, like those dub hits or that kind of noise in the background, I'm wondering if there's more variation you can add to those elements, or we'll see if we can listen through more of the track, or you just chop time out and you just get to some of these ideas a little quicker. But so far, I like the elements. I like the groove. This is more on a personal note. I think for this genre, the use of that vocal sample and the is fine. I feel like that kind of thing is getting a little bit tired now, but that also depends kind of what scene you kind of revolve in and what type of labels you're going for. I think it works in this time, but just personally, I think it's getting a little cliche. But let's keep going. Well, we'll listen for a minute or so, then I'll jump forward and see what else we got. But so far, yeah, it's mostly arrangement. Not really feeling that bit crushed hit. It doesn't really fit within the motif of the rest of the percussive elements for me. Okay, yeah. Back to this guy. In the breakdown, it feels really cliche to me. I mean, you added that delay there, which was cool. That variated it. Yeah, it's really just hitting this idea over and over and over again. Oh. There's a lot going on. I feel like there's, from a mix perspective, a lot of these elements are really fighting with each other, especially when that synth came in. My brain is getting a little overloaded. I'll make it to the end of the breakdown, then I'll talk a little bit more about the breakdown. So, for me personally, I really like this new groove that you have after the breakdown. For me, it kind of like gets my head bobbing a little bit more. I think it really strengthened the track. And I like the idea that what you gave to me as a listener after the breakdown was not a paint by numbers kind of give me exactly what we're doing before the breakdown. So I applaud you for that. That being said, that synth sound, that pad sound, it's just not working for me. It just feels a little bit out of key, and doesn't so much fit the rest of the vibe for the track for me. But arrangement wise, I like the idea of giving the listener something new. I mean, there was an attempt for a payoff, which is really, really good. I think for the what we had leading up to the breakdown, again, I said it was a little bit chaotic, and it was kind of hammering that vocal and piano sample over and over and over again. And I think your head was in the right place, in my personal humble opinion, which take it for what it is. It was overdoing the sample, and it just started, even though you were throwing the delay on there, it felt like a little bit like predictable. Like, this is exactly what I would expect this breakdown to sound like. So I think if you wanted to push it to the next level, play with varying that breakdown, try and reuse that sample a little bit less. Maybe throw another type of new element in there, which isn't that synth coming in, because that's not personally working for me. But arrangement-wise, I feel like a new element, not that synth element, is a really good way to glue your first half and second half of the track together, such that when you come out of the breakdown, it doesn't feel exactly like what you're expecting. So that was a whole bunch of rambling. I hope that helps. I'm probably not going to make it through the rest of the track just because we have a bunch more submissions. But overall, I think there's a lot of great melodic elements in there. There's some good layering, and I think a lot of the work is in the arrangement, which is for me many times the hardest part. But thanks for the submission, Almo. Hopefully you found that helpful. Let me jump into... Oh boy, we got a lot to go through. I wonder if I should go a little faster. This is another one from Almo. Oh, another one from Almo. Almo, you got a lot in here. I'm just going to give one per producer. Let's see. This one is from Aaron Ward. Let's give this a go. All right. All right, starting, it begins with a kick. Okay. Well, interesting. I'm going to reserve judgment to see where this is going. My interest is piqued because it's so stripped and so bare. I wonder if this is going to match the rest of what comes in a little bit later. Or, on the other hand, maybe it's just not a developed enough intro. But let's see. Tempted to jump forward a little bit. Okay, we're getting something in there. I'm going to jump forward a little bit. Okay, so first thought is we're 1:30 into the intro, and I see this as a 10-minute track. From a DJ perspective, I think this is too slow to bring your elements in. I think it would behoove this track. Let's see what's in the meat of the track. I think it would behoove the track to make it a little bit more interesting from a mix-in perspective. Have a few more elements going on. But let's see if I eat my words once we get to the meat of the track. Let's see. Oh, okay, so actually that is the vibe of the track. It's a very, very stripped back track. So I am eating my words a little bit, but I would much rather get to the groove a little bit earlier, just from a DJ point of view. Okay, it's interesting. I'm of two minds. This is, on one hand, it's kind of cool because it's so stripped. But on the other hand, I feel like it's just not doing enough for me, but I need to jump forward. Okay, we're getting to some melodic elements here. Interesting. Some unexpected chord changes. I would say, I'm probably not going to dig too deeply in this one. My feeling, now this might be what you were going for, and if it is, you can completely ignore my opinion. It feels like this track is pretty underdeveloped. I think it has a lot more room for and I subscribe to the idea that less is more generally in music, but I feel like this is too little. Just by jumping through it, I don't really have a feel for what this track is about or what the central idea or theme of this track is. Yeah, I would say kind of just on a quick listen, if I was skimming through this as a label submission, I would just say that this feels underdeveloped, and I'd want it to be fleshed out a little bit more melodically and groove-wise. Sorry, I probably wasn't too helpful on this one. Let's jump forward. This one's from Rolf. Paradise Records, 1AU pre-masters. Now let's see. I guess I'll just choose one of these. Let's take Alba pre-master. Okay. So far seems fine to me. Okay. So, my first thought here is I don't think there's anything wrong with what I hear so far. I just think kind of in the world of electronic music, my first thought is the lead element, I'm going to get the instrument wrong. It might be a oud. It just to me sounds like a lot of what I've already heard before. Now, of course, that is also a stylistic choice and a genre choice, but I'm kind of on edge a little bit because it's like, okay, more of this instrument. But I mean, compositionally and feeling-wise, it feels fine so far. Visually, I can see that we have a big breakdown here. I mean, we're at 1:46. It looks like we probably have a minute and a half breakdown. Without having heard it yet, I already feel like this might be too dramatic too early. But let's see what the payoff is when we get to the beat back in. Getting a little bored, considering we haven't gotten to the meat of the track yet. It's a big dramatic breakdown. We're only at 2:32. It feels kind of loopy, the same thing over and over again. I'm kind of like, okay, like, give me the goods here. Okay, now we have like the filtered kick. I didn't really feel like that was an appropriate payoff for that dramatic a breakdown. It's good to use those one-shot, the delayed shakers and reverbs to break something up from feeling really, really loopy. That's what they're there for. They're for keeping something moving. But that lead, oh nice, okay, the shakers came in, it grooves a little bit more. But still, it's just feeling really loopy to me. I'm just really wanting to know, like, where is this going, or have I reached... It's kind of similar feedback that I gave to a previous one, and I don't mean this to sound as harsh as, but like, what's the point of this track, or what is this track about? Is the track about that bong bong ba-dunk bong 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 bong? Because if it is, that's been on loop since the beginning of the track. So if that's the lead, it's a lead that's hammering my ears nonstop. If it's just a rhythmical element, let's hope that you give the ears a break from it. We're already 3:34, and it's just been looping nonstop, so my ears are getting fatigued. I'm just gonna jump forward. A little bit of pad action comes in. Still kind of the same groove. All right, I'm just gonna jump to the break. Okay. Okay, so I'm probably I'll just jump a little bit further, but I think I know what my feedback's gonna be. Okay, I feel like I heard some kind of squelchy delay thing going on after there. Overall, I think my opinion is you have a basis to start for the track. You have that rhythmic hook thing. If you decide to use that just as one of the melodic rhythmical elements, kind of in the a supporting element in the background, that's cool. Or you have to decide if you want that to be the lead of the track. But whatever the case, it just feels really loopy to me. I'm just kind of like waiting for the track to kind of come alive or to have a life or have a personality. I could even just see this as you have all the supporting elements in place, and you just need to arrange them or mute and unmute things and have a proper lead that's sitting on top of it. But I would say it feels underdeveloped. Try to move away from it feeling super loopy. Try to have more variation in your percussion and your melody. But it's a strong start. It's a strong start. I don't even know if these are helpful to anyone, but trying this out. All right, here's one from Reza Safinia. All right. Oh, SoundCloud does this thing when you have multiple tabs open. The next one is playing. All right. Okay, I like this intro already. You've already got my attention hooked, and we're like 10 seconds in. Cool. It's funny how the first like 2 or 3 seconds, and there's not that much information that's really revealed to the ear, but the first 2 or 3 seconds can really, really bias my opinion on how much I'm going to like the track later on. I mean, with this one, I like the notes that are played, but I also like the texture. I like the distortion and saturation. It doesn't feel like just some stock clean sounding like VST that was used. I like the texture of it, and it has my attention right away. So I don't know if I can put my finger on it why, but I like this so far. I was not expecting to go in this direction. So I'm silent on feedback right now because mentally I'm trying to usually when I do Patreon mentorship sessions and someone sends me a demo, I ask them, what were you going for when you tried to make this? Like, are you going for like a house track or a deep house track or something that goes on like Intervisions or whatever? And I'm not sure how to give feedback on this exactly because I'm not sure what he's going for. I think vibe and feeling wise, this doesn't fit within the what's the paradigm of like normal house music. I mean, it's electronic music and it's very, very melodic. It feels like it's in a kind of in another category. So I'm trying to think about how to give feedback from this, because it seems to me that it's not trying to be a typical house track or the type of house track that I would play in a DJ set. But I'm gonna keep listening because it's interesting. It's making me think interesting on how to approach talking about this. It's cool. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, anyone in the chat, like, what category would you put this under? This isn't it doesn't feel like club music to me. It feels like electronica or like song music. I enjoy listening to it. But it almost, I don't know. Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. Oh yeah, Cirque du Soleil. That's what it sounds like. Cirque du Soleil like music. That's what it sounds like. Exactly. That good one, Ash Daddy. It's cinematic. Okay, cool. So yeah, when we get later in the track, yeah, around 3:44, it feels more like a track. Yeah, someone said like Sunrise's dance track. Okay, now it's starting to emerge to me. Yeah, now it feels more like a club track. So I guess my feedback on this, I like a lot of the melodic elements in there. It has a nice emotional vibe, especially what I heard at the beginning. I like those textures. I like when the textures are like nice and like distorted and kind of gritty like that. I think if we're gonna target kind of the vibe that we're hearing, this kind of thing, which is like, an intense, as someone said, sunrise in there. I think there's a lot of room for development in the groove. I like the idea, and I mentioned this before. I like the idea of less is more, with elements, but the groove, to me. And again, this can vary. This can differ from what you're going stylistically. To me, the groove feels a little too simple. That I think that kick needs a little bit of work. It's like kind of grinding my ear a little bit. Those that snare and that clap aren't quite sitting right for me either. Also, it gets really intense here. That's like a big ramp up from where we start to end. If this is trying to be positioned as a DJ friendly track, it's one of those tracks that I call like inflection point tracks in a set of mine, where if I know that I'm at like one point in a vibe in my set, and I know I want to be at another point, at another vibe level in my set, I need tracks that can like take me from one energy level to another one. This could be like an inflection point track. I mean, I would probably need to listen to it again. It feels like it like ramps up a lot in energy, and that could be a challenge if you're going for DJs. I mean, to make an energy jump that big, it can be unwieldy unless like the DJ is like really knowing what they're doing and the work they did to get to that point and how they mix out of the previous track. But it is. I'm not saying it's wrong to have a big variance in energy levels that big, but it's a very careful rickety bridge. It's a careful route to explore. Having such big energy jumps because it gets really intense here. Yeah. So there are on a personal note, and again, it's not clear exactly what you were going for. I liked a lot of what I was hearing at the beginning. I mean, it was more in my vibe and my taste. I think it got a little. Man, I hate to use this word because it's such a shitty word to use, but it felt it just felt like I got a little cheesy for me. So it's not up my alley exactly. But I could definitely see how this energy, especially what we're hearing over here, can definitely work at the right moment for the right DJs. I think there's probably a good amount of work that can be done in the mixdown also. I'm just kind of being assaulted with a lot of different elements across the spectrum. I would maybe spend a little time carving the elements to give them a little bit more space so they stand out, so it just doesn't feel like I'm being attacked so much. But yeah, overall, yeah, I wish we could chat about it a little bit to see exactly what you were going for, but yeah, those are my thoughts there. I think there's some interesting stuff in there. I would love to do a remix, or hear someone do a remix or another version where they ran with that intro synth line, or just had the stems there and or that synth patch and just explored it, because I think it's a really nice sound. Or you know what? Actually, if you want to build an EP, this is actually some feedback that I give to producers where they have one track that they finish and they're like, okay, this is cool. And I sent it off to a label, and they said that they like that track, but they want more tracks to fill out an EP. Like, what do I do? One trick that I have is I'll take my Ableton project, I'll do save as, and then I'll just delete all my MIDI clips, but I'll still keep all the instruments, and I'll just start a new track using all the same instruments, all the same percussion sounds, knowing that it's going to be part of that EP. And it's not really cheating. You're basically saying this instrumentation is the motif of this EP or of this album, and that's totally fine. I mean, some producers use the same instrumentation and same percussion across multiple EPs and multiple albums. So anyway, my roundabout way of saying is I would be interested to hear if you did another track with these same elements that you had at the beginning there, because I think they sounded really nice, and they caught my attention in the first 10 seconds. So hope that was helpful. Thank you, Reza. Alex Reimars. Oh, Alex Reimars. We went to the same high school back in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. And Alex, I actually just played poker with your brother a couple nights ago over Zoom. I didn't even know you were producing music. So let's check this out. Oh, I have to hit refresh because SoundCloud is idiotic. Da-da-da. I'm seeing from the chat people are having issues on Discord. Can anyone confirm? Cool. I'm feeling a little better than neutral on this. I like the synths going on in the background. It's got my attention enough to say, okay, where is this going? Oh shit. Oh, this is sick. Oh, this is really cool. like the lead sound a lot. Yeah, it has this like quirky. Oh, let's just jump back there. Okay, cool. That was a nice little, drop the beat quickly to introduce a new element. The pads that you have underneath are good. They're supporting. It's filling the track well. I'm liking a lot of what I'm hearing so far on the melody side of things. That trick before already, and it was cool. I would say be careful not to overdo that trick, but that's a personal thing. Okay, the strings are supporting this well. I'm not completely excited by the percussion. I'm excited by the melodic elements. I'm wanting a little more excitement and variation in the percussion. It feels like it was kind of stacked by numbers, and you just kind of dragged all the percussion outs. And I feel that you had your percussion kind of laid out. You had your few elements, and then you just dragged them all out in Ableton, and then all the work was spent developing like the melodic elements, like the layering and the pianos and the warble detune and all that, which are cool. My ears are wanting for more excitement in the percussion. I mean, at the very least, I just love some fills. You do that thing where you drop the kick and you drop the beat. I think I heard that 2, maybe 3 times now. The melodic elements are up here, and I really want the level of sophistication in the percussion to kind of be up to par with where the melodic elements are. But I'm excited by what I'm hearing right now. This is fun. Oh, this is cool. Again, I like. Yeah. Okay, so just in the interest of time, I want to get to more tracks, but I'm just gonna. Cool. So okay, I think my feedback kind of stands. I really like the melodic elements a lot. I think it's quirky, it's unique. I wasn't expecting what I was hearing. The percussion feels a little. It feels predictable. The sounds feel a little stock to me. And I wonder if your percussion elements are like pretty heavily compressed, because especially in those like the I don't know if it's like toms or whatever, those like those other drums that are being played that aren't the bass and snare, they all sound really like they don't have much dynamic range. Maybe there's some room for having some of those notes just being like accent hits, having a couple other subtle layers that aren't always on the entire track, playing with some fills, and maybe playing with some other like one-shot ideas in your percussion. On that note, you can also have some one-shot ideas you could play with in your melodic elements as well, to kind of glue pieces together and make it feel less loopy. It could be like random delay tails or reversing elements here and there, and that kind of thing. But I think this tune has like definitely caught my interest, and I think the biggest area of improvement, in my opinion, and again, if it's not what you're going for, then you can completely ignore my opinion. But I think bringing the percussion up to par to match the interestingness of the melody would be would make it much more playable and closer to signable in my book. So nice to hear from you, Alex, and thanks for submitting that. This is that was a fun one. Okay. Oh, James Fish. Let's jump to James Fish. James Fish is a dear friend of mine. We used to be roommates in San Francisco, and now he's living in Berlin. And I'm excited to hear this. And doesn't he have the best profile photo? Octopus on his head. Okay, cool. Okay. Interested. Yeah, I'm just like waiting to see where it's going. Nice intro. It's pleasant sounding. It has nice like noise texture. Sounds like kids on a playground. Cool. Okay, in comes a new element at about the time when my ears wanted it. That felt a little forward to me in the mix, but I don't have the greatest headphones in the world. That dum 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 dum. I know, how terrible is that? I'm giving track feedback when I'm not using pro headphones. That's on me. Yeah, this ARP line sits nicely on top. I feel like the melodic elements are cool. Again, this feels to me like it's a long intro. Is like, and I assume that's. I mean, obviously it's by design. It would be something maybe that you opened up a set with if you wanted a vibe resetter, or if you're doing a live set. This kind of thing. I want some. My ears are asking for some kind of modulation on the boom, dung, dung, dung. It's just like it's hitting super flat. Maybe just like, I mean, it could be any number of things. You could have like an LFO auto filter. You could have like a slow moving chorus, something that just like gives it like a little bit of movement, so it doesn't feel like it's just sitting there. The thing that I always do, which is probably beaten to death, is I might have like a delay, and then I'll like change like my delay time, so it has like a trippy kind of pitch shifting tail. But that's just what I do a lot, too much. I like that snare. Yeah, overall it's pleasant. I'm enjoying listening to it. James, if you're in the chat, because I know you were earlier. I should make this a requirement for all submissions that I receive, which is what are you going for, and in what context do you expect people to listen to this, whether it's at home listening or if it's for a DJ set, because that's such a huge part in evaluating and giving feedback on something is it there's the feedback from my point of view of do I like this or not, but then there's also the feedback of how close do I think you are to achieving the goal that you're trying to achieve. So That's on me for next time. I think I'm gonna try and be a little more specific, and because I think this track, I'm enjoying listening to it. I think it's very pleasant. I wouldn't DJ this because I couldn't imagine that in a DJ set. Now, if you were saying, "Hey, Atish," oh, okay, going for the opening of a live set. Okay, great. That's really helpful. Thanks, James. I think so that actually shapes a lot more for me. I think this fits much more in the context of a live set. I feel like there's the perk. I like those distorted snare fills I'm hearing. And I think one of the reasons I might like them so much is because they have a little bit of grit. I feel like the rest of the percussion is very clean. Yeah, this has like a live set vibe. Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to play around with dirtying up the percussion a little bit more. The perk also feels like it's lacking a little bit of oomph in like the mid-range. Oh, I like those little click sounds that you had. That filled it up and gave it life. I hear those like really subtle like low tom hits, which I think are cool. My ears are personally asking for a little bit more action, like in like the low mid range of the percussion. It kind of feels like it has like a gap in the mids, and it also feels really clean to me. But I like it overall. I mean, to be clear, I think it's really pleasant. I would, if I was seeing an artist like doing a live set, I'd be like, okay, cool. This like for the beginning of a journey of a live set, I'd be like, okay.
It was so much easier when I was a child.
I would also say, I was talking about modulating that lead sound, the that sound to me, it's so clearly a lead sound.
I wasn't sure about.
And you are playing with opening and closing the filter. I would maybe take a little time to see if you could.
I wasn't sure what was the.
Explore that texture a little bit more, or explore other ways to variate that texture, because it's a solo element basically. It's not something that's just looped. My ears kind of want it to have a little bit more life, because that's what the track is about. It feels a little stocky to me.
To share and what I should keep.
But I like it. Overall, I like it.
And I ended up keeping it all. And I ended up keeping it all.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump to the next tune. But yeah, overall I like it. And one thing that I don't have time to go in depth. It felt really sparse after the breakdown here. Like there's almost like gaps. My ears are asking for something to kind of fill the space a little bit. It doesn't have to be a big blasting synth element, but it could be, I don't know. I mean, you could you had some textural sounds in the beginning, like kids playing in a playground, or I don't know if it was like some like noise elements. I thought that was a good place to start, so it doesn't feel super dry and sparse. Maybe consider bringing some of that back later, so the track doesn't feel like it's let's say unfinished. But overall, I liked it. Yeah, great elements in here. Good stuff, James. Thanks for submitting it. Okay, this is just a lo-fi track for listening. Wait, is this a... Oh, he edited it. Lo-fi track for listening. Let's see. He's telling me the intention. Let's see. My intro is peaked with that pad sound. Really, really, really beautiful pad sound and a nice reverb on there. The perk. The perk sounds like really herky jerky to me, so I'm not yet hooked in with the percussion. But let's see where it goes. But I hope I get more of that pad sound because that was beautiful. Whoa. Interesting. Can I have that pad back? Yeah, I gotta say I'm a little confused. How it jumped into this vibe. Wouldn't play this in a set. What Bo is telling me, it's just a lo-fi track for listening. Yeah, I'm kind of left scratching my head with this big vibe change. I'm gonna jump forward a little bit. Okay, makes a little more sense now.
We find ourselves thinking about the future. What am I going to do? And if you're ever distressed, what I say to you?
Yeah, it's tough for me. I'm not completely feeling this one. I like the pad elements. I like what's going on top. I feel like just the perk to me, it feels really herky jerky, and I feel like it doesn't complement the beauty of what I'm hearing in the pads and melodic element that well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, this one's just not for me. But there are some elements that I like in there a lot. Yeah. Hopefully that's helpful. I'm not sure if it is. Okay. Let's see. Mango Cult. Oh, looks like we're almost at an hour, and I'm probably only halfway through. I'm gonna try and move through things a little bit quicker, or we just won't get to anyone. Also, if there's anyone who's a Patreon subscriber who submitted a track for feedback and I haven't gotten to you, just yell at me, because I promise to make sure anyone who's subscribed on Patreon will get feedback for sure. All right, let's jump to Mango Cult. I'm probably just gonna be jumping through tracks right now, just for the sake of getting to as many people as possible. I'll go until I'm on baby duty at like 7:30, so I'll go until 7:30. Then I really gotta go. So my first thought is, this sounds, and just in the interest of time, I hope I don't come across as like rude or overly critical, but I'm just trying to be a little bit more efficient. The first thought that I think when I hear this is well produced, but it sounds like everything else. It doesn't mean that DJs wouldn't play it. It doesn't mean that it wouldn't get signed. It feels very Me Too. But on its own, it's beautiful. It sounds pleasant. This one has, like, I would say this has a little bit more of a proggy vibe, than typical middle of the road organic house, which is its own touch on there, which sets it apart a little bit. Yeah, and then I'm kind of hearing it with this lead element here. It just feels really stock, like I'm not saying that you use the preset without changing it, or I'm just saying what it feels like to me is this is a preset that I've heard in all my synth packs that I've heard a lot of producers use. The percussion, it sounds good, it grooves, but it sounds like so many of the other percussive grooves that I've heard. The track isn't bad, but to be super direct, it's just very easily forgettable, in my humble opinion. Yeah, and then it seems like same kind of idea. Ooh, little Cindy Phil there. Yeah. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Yeah, I think it sounds fine. But there's nothing that really grabbed my attention. And there's not much that makes the track really feel memorable. It feels like a track that would get lost like a grain of sand in the desert, perhaps. All right, let's jump forward. This is from Too Much Me. From Ash Daddy. Interesting. Okay, something a little different. Wow! I'm not even sure what to make of this. It's interesting. It's different. I appreciate it for that much at least. I'm probably not going to spend too much time on this one. I think the perspective of feedback that I want to give is stuff that's leaning more towards house and techno, or things that a DJ might play. I feel like this is just in a different category of its own. But I think it's interesting. It has like these distorted guitars and it's mean. No, it's cool. But I think I'm just gonna move on in the interest of time because it's probably a little bit different than the ballpark of what I'm looking for. Just because I want to get to other tracks. Also, it looks like this was already released November 12th. I don't know if this was release track or that's just SoundCloud's metadata. Anyway, I'm just gonna move forward on that one. All right, we have Different Ray. Oh. Okay. It's fine so far. It's a cool, broken beat kind of thing. Obviously, or not obviously, we've had a huge wave of this kind of stuff happening over the last year and a half. I like that it's doing it. It doesn't yet stand out to me as something memorable amongst the rest of the pack, kind of like that last Desert song that we heard a couple tracks ago. But I'm interested to see where it goes. Let's see what you do with like a lead sound and where it builds into. Yeah. It's just I'm just not fully grabbed by it. I wanted to like it. I think the groove is cool. I think maybe if you were playing with it a couple years ago or 3 or 4 years ago, it would have been a little bit more fresh. But there's so many producers doing this kind of broken beat thing. It really has to stand out to get my attention. And maybe a lot of other DJs. The lead sound, I'm glad that a lead sound came in. I just wasn't feeling it that much. The texture seems really straight ahead, and the way it's jumping melodically didn't feel like hokey or interesting enough. But I think arrangement wise, the idea is right to put a lead sound there. I think you could probably develop that a little bit more. What I like is that playing unpredictable dynamics, especially in the bass, is really really fun. So I think that's a plus. I like subtle bass hits. I like unpredictable bass hits. I like varying dynamics in bass hits. That's cool. Yeah, not feeling the lead so much. Let's just jump in, just in the interest of time. All right, doing a little, bring some acid in here. Oh, that was cool. I like that, from an arrangement perspective, that little stop start thing. I don't think I've heard that too much. I'm just gonna go back because I liked it so much. That's cool. I might steal that idea from you. I like that a lot, actually. I like the vibe after the breakdown a lot more than before. It's probably not. I don't think it's a track that I would play. But I have more. I just like it has this like old school. I would love to know what synth you used because it reminds me of this old synth I had. I feel like my Electribe EMX1 was like a $500 kind of Groovebox toy. It has this, and I don't mean this in an insulting way. It has this like cheap synthesizer sound. Or maybe I don't know what it is about it. It just has this kind of like throwback. Oh, that was like a cool little idea, like that like little thing there. I like those subtle hits a lot. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That like tremolo chop. I love those subtle hits that like they're not at the forefront. Not everyone consciously hears those things, but they make a track feel much more alive and less stock and less kind of stacked by numbers. But I'll spend maybe another 30 seconds on this track. Yeah, overall it's not for me. I like the second half better than the first half because it has much more of a cogent feel how everything comes together. The lead sound here around before the break, it just felt kind of thrown on there and not really part of the track. Speaking of like old cheap synth sounds, that really sounds like my old electronic. I wonder what you're using. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. It's nice. It's floaty. Not for me so much. I don't think it's bad. But if I had a limited amount of time to spend on this, I would probably spend it on that lead thing that you have going on before the breakdown because that really stuck out to me like a sore thumb. But cool. I recognize your name, Different Ray. Have you submitted demo submissions to Munchimasa before? I wonder. Okay. Burkake 93. Let's see what we got here. We got 24 minutes left. Okay, I'm just gonna read through the Discord chat a little bit to see if I missed anything. Okay, I have not missed anything. This track is not loading. Let's see what people are saying in Twitch. Oh, it is. Oh, different rays in the chat on Twitch. It is ship. What does that mean? Okay. Oh god, I hope SoundCloud isn't down now because this track is not loading. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. Uh-oh. I'm already not inclined to want to listen to this because it's 11 minutes and 44 seconds. All right. Well, I'm gonna. Oh, different Ray confirmed. It is cheap. What synth plugin was it? If it's a Korg Electribe, then I'm going to. I don't know. That I would be surprised if I called it, but it really reminded me of these old cheap groove boxes, which I love. And to be clear, just because a synth sound is cheap or on a cheap device does not mean that you shouldn't use it. Oh, he made it in silent. Yeah, just because something is cheap or toy sounding or doesn't sound lush and like incredible like what you hear in Omnisphere doesn't mean it's bad. It's up to you as a producer to understand and know how to wield the tools that you have at your disposal and know how to use them in the correct way. If you have a really cheap sounding synth sound, well, that doesn't mean you should throw it away. Maybe it just means that you have to very carefully select the motif of your percussion. Maybe you use toyish or old Casio keyboard sounds, to match the vibe of that synth sound. So there's really no synth sound that is wrong in my opinion. It's just about making sure that it gels within the rest of your percussion and the rest of your melodic elements. But okay, I am very tempted to really quickly jump through this because it's 11 minutes 44 seconds. Cool. I mean, it's not bad so far. I can't speak too much of the arrangement since I'm not really listening through it all. I definitely feel like in the mix, there's a lot of reverberated long tail synths kind of hanging on together, and I feel like they're fighting each other in the mix. I think I would advise spending some time just on the overall mix, making sure they're not fighting with each other in the frequency spectrum. Think about how much delay, how long a delay and ADSR tails you really need on everything, or maybe have those variate between elements when they get their tails, because there's a lot of long tails fighting on against one another, and it feels crowded. And sometimes the track can be more powerful when you have fewer elements fighting for space rather than a whole bunch of elements fighting for space. It's cool. It has a throwback. Feels like something from like an 80s movie. Like some 80s like Karate Kid scene or something.
That's probably so.
Whoa. That vocal sample like really stuck out like a sore thumb. Maybe it was from an 80s karate movie. Okay, let's just jump forward. Yeah, I'm not really giving much feedback on this. I mean, let's not talk about the length of the track too much. I'm not really sure what to put my finger on it. It has this like throwback vibe. There's this like throwback electro vibe is definitely in style for what was going on in the 2000s. Before the pandemic hit, 2019. There's still some of this stuff. I mean, I'm not that plugged in to music, and I think a lot of us are kind of figuring out what the new sound is, or we will figure that out once dance floors open again. It's not clear to me what dance floors or what DJs I could visualize hearing this, but it doesn't feel that far off from that electro sound that was like kind of having its ride to fame in the 2019s, early 2020s. Yeah, sorry, not much constructive feedback. I think the biggest takeaway is shorten this track. Try not to have your synths fighting so much for the same frequency space because there's just a lot of crowding going on. And yeah, I mean, I think this track is just kind of 80s soundtrack music to me. It's kind of doing its own thing. So, yeah, I hope you find a good place for it to fit, whether you're trying to sign it or in one of your own sets. Okay, let's jump forward. Parallel Voices, Chance of Eden. Wow. I like both the names, Parallel Voices and Chance of Eden. It's very sounds very sophisticated. Right there. Yeah, so far my interest is I'm feeling a little above neutral on it. I like that big warm bass. I'm just curious to see where it's going. Wait, is this track in 6/8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 3, 4. I mean, or is this triplets? 4, 4. Which is cool. I mean, that's a unique, memorable aspect of a track. You know, it's just a very triplet bass, or in 6/8. The track has set a really nice vibe. Now I'm just waiting to see, like, where are you going with it? Okay, maybe this is the lead, the tremolated lead synth sound. So now at this point, I think that all the supporting elements of the track are there. There's nothing. Let's see. Oh, something's happening. What my ears want, and this is true for every single time we get a demo submission or consider signing something to Manjimasi, the conversation we have is, what is unique about this track? What is memorable about this track? What will make us remember this track, or anyone remember this track and then not be forgotten amongst the rest of the world? That can be the texture of a lead sound. It can be a memorable melody. It can be the textures used. It can be the groove. So far, I mean, everything feels right in this track. Nothing feels wrong. One thing that is unique is, like, you know, the use of, like, triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's cool. But there's not yet something in this track that makes me say, oh yeah, like Chance of Eden, like that's the track that I'm looking for in my collection because it does this memorable thing. But I'm going to be patient. I'm going to see where it goes. But we're 2:32 in, and I don't know what that thing is that will make me remember the track. And of course, this what I'm saying is in the context of, I mean, we can have a philosophical conversation about art. I mean, at the end of the day, if what you're creating is an authentic expression of what you feel inside and who you are, then it doesn't really matter if it doesn't stand out from the rest of the pack. I'm merely saying from the perspective of, let's say, a label head or a DJ. And if that's the goal of your music, to sign it to a label or to have DJs play it, that's the perspective of my feedback, not a judgment on what you're trying to express as an artist. I don't know if it's necessary to say that, but I felt it was worth it. Just jumping forward a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, overall, this feels like solid. I mean, I think you could probably sign this as is. The mix is like pretty tight. I mean, the bass really comes through nicely. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would play this. I would say that this is probably right on the line of saying that I wouldn't play this, but it's pretty close to it. It's a solid track. There's nothing wrong with it. It's doing a cool thing with the triplets, but just personally, it doesn't have that like shining like unique thing that would make me remember it. But maybe a DJ can use this as like a vibe or something that just has to fit the energy level in the room, and it doesn't have to wow everyone or do this kind of thing. I mean, this could just be that puzzle piece that a DJ needs to play to that vibe, but not quite for me. All right, we are at 7:18. Maybe we can get a couple more in before I jump out of here. All right, this one. My first thought here is everything feels. I wonder if all or most of these elements are like heavily compressed. It just feels really loud to me, and like feels like everything is like fighting for space. My first thought is play with be comfortable with having more dynamic range in these elements, and not everything has to be so loud. Just so my ears can just appreciate what's going on a little bit. Yeah, it sounds, or maybe you just use like a really heavy mastering setting before uploading, but it's just like really kind of grinding my ears. But let me spend some more time thinking about the creative feedback on the musical I'm not really feeling what's happening with that lead line. First, it's doing this like digga 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 arp thing, which is like in a minor key. Now it's jumped into this major key. It was just like kind of like an energy feel in the melody. This is taking me by surprise. I mean, you have a lot of personality in those vocals. We have to take a little baby break.
Sleeping Beauty is here.
Hi, Zion. Say hi, everyone. I promised that the baby would show up during the live stream.
Say hi.
Hi. Oh. Okay,
So
he's a little
sleepy.
shy. He's sleepy right now.
Okay.
Thank you for coming by. Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye. Okay. Okay. Back to your track, Sarah.
Merci Seigneur, merci mon Dieu, nous vous disons merci Seigneur, merci mon Dieu, nous vous disons merci Seigneur. You fight it all, you break it all, you fight it all.
Are these vocal samples all from the same?
Merci mon break it all.
Okay, so I'm not really sure what direction to go with the feedback on this one. I'll pick one angle, which is I think the personality of this track is definitely the vocals. They're fun, they're interesting. Obviously, they're very uh human. I would say pull back on those like hard hitting synths, ding a ding a ding a ding a ding a ding a ding, and overall vibe. If we had more time, we can go into the details. But overall, I would say try to create more space in the track, more space for the vocals to shine, more space for more like subtle percussion hits. Try not to slam everything, and I would say if you like peel back the intensity layers level, like maybe like one or two notches here and there to create space for the vocal, the overall impact of the track could be a lot stronger. If you're going for something that could be played, at a house and techno kind of vibe. Cool. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay, I think last one or two. Okay, Hannah Noel. Oh, Hannah Noel. Did you interview me way back in LA for something? I feel like we met before. Oh, and you even said it's a departure from house aesthetic. It's down tempo, a little more indie-tronic. I might want to use this time to spend on more house and techno-focused stuff, since that's my domain area of expertise, and the feedback that I give on house music would probably be most beneficial to everyone else. Maybe if we had a little more time, I could spend on this, but I'll just jump through just to get a little bit more of the vibe on this one. But yeah, I'm trying to stick within that genre just so it's most useful for most people in the chat.
If it makes you feel better, spinning your narrative around like that, and on the right one move I make.
Yeah, I mean, sounds pleasant, sounds really nice. Again, not my area of expertise, so I probably don't have a lot of constructive feedback to give you. Maybe if we had more time, we could spend time exploring stuff outside of house and techno. Oh, Fugazi. Oh, it's Alex Donofrio. Okay. This will be, I think, the last one or second to last one. Nice to hear from you, Alex. Really nice vibe, really pleasant. That bass sounds really nice. I mean, everything like sits together really, really nicely. It's really pleasant. It doesn't have that like. Well, I'm going to give it a little bit more time before I say too much. We're still in the intro of the track. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, Alex, this is super nice. Like that stabby sound, it's getting a little bit lost in the mix. I wonder if you can create a little bit of room for it. Just speak. Yeah, maybe just be careful about overcrowding a little bit. Maybe you're stacking too much, but it's really pleasant, man. I mean, it's really nice to listen to. Really, really nice vibe you've got here. I'm enjoying listening to it. riser. This track is like pretty sophisticated. It's pretty nice. That riser felt a little too EDM-y for me. Just it felt like this track isn't cheesy, but that riser felt. I'm just gonna go back. It felt a little cheesy. I feel like you don't need to do that. Sick. Dude, this is really nice. This is really nice. Vocals sound great. It's a little bit crowded. There's probably room for mix down. But I mean, it sounds really sophisticated. It's cool. You're varying the bass there. You're opening the envelope. All that you're after. That synth sound and the vocals are fighting for each other a bit in the frequency spectrum. I want the vocals to be a little bit, unless maybe it's a stylistic choice you're making, but the vocals sound really nice, and I want those to be a little bit more at the forefront just because I like them so much. So again, probably my biggest feedback in this track is just mix down, just carving out space, making room for the vocals, and not having too much fighting. But I mean, I only said I have a few minutes, but I just want to keep listening to this because I really enjoy it. Usually I'm jumping through, but I like this a lot. Was not expecting that. Cool. Very, very cool. That's kind of like similar to the way I like to do breakdowns. You build up to something that you don't go straight into the high energy and just build it up slowly. Yeah, this is cool. Just in the interest of time, I can't listen to it all the way through, but I might just listen to it on my own time just because it's a nice tune. But I think you should be proud of this. This is really good, Alex. Yeah, probably the strongest thing I've heard today. So yeah, hats off. And then I guess since this is the strongest one, maybe it asks the question: is this something that's like Munji Mossy signable? I like this. I would play it at the right moment in a set. We probably wouldn't sign it on Munji Mossy because everything it's assuming that you fix the mix. It's a very solid. It's a good track. I went from like great to very solid to good. But it's not unique, particularly, or it doesn't have that weird factor or that thing that's quirky or unpredictable or that like stands out from the rest of the pack. But it's very good. I mean, it's good, and you should be proud of it. And that's just what this track wanted to be. But yeah, you should be proud of this. I enjoyed listening to it. Cool. I said that was gonna be my last one, so oh man, there's just so many more demos that are coming in. Yeah, I think I am going to wrap it up here. Sorry for the few of you whose demos we didn't make it to. If you guys found this valuable, let me know in the Discord chat. I enjoy doing this, but I'll only do this if you guys find this helpful. And then maybe we'll do it again in 2 weeks, or maybe a month, or maybe we'll do a monthly. Also, if you want really, really detailed feedback, I run an artist mentorship program on Patreon where we do one-on-one coaching sessions. We talk specifically about production technique. We talk about DJing. We talk about bookings. We talk about building a career. Sometimes they're therapy sessions, hosting your own parties, starting a label. So yeah, I offer that as a service through Patreon to help mentor you throughout your career. And yeah, it's I've really enjoyed it, and the feedback I've gotten from people has been that it's really helped them as well. So yeah, that's the way to go if you want more detailed feedback. Oh, and one more thing, I think I will do this again. If you want to guarantee that one of your tracks will make it in the feedback session, if you subscribe to one of my lower tiers, it doesn't have to be the artist mentorship tier. One of my $5 or $10 tiers on Patreon, that will guarantee that I will review your track the next time we do this. That's at patreon.com/atishmusic. And thanks everyone for submitting these demos. Thanks for taking the time to listen and hear what I have to say. All this stuff is really just my opinion only. There's really no right. There's no wrong. But so it means a lot to me that you actually care what I have to say musically. And with that, I bid you adieu and catch you another time